All right, good evening, everyone. Let's call the meeting to order. Everybody, please rise for the pledge of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, everybody, for coming and watching tonight. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Criscione for our superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Nat. I have some special guests here this evening that I would like to introduce. We have our elementary assistant principal, Megan Teppenhart, and we have our STEAM facilitator, I'm going to call you that, Allison Elfroth. And I would just ask that you join us, and we're going to be setting up and doing a presentation for us about our STEAM program at the elementary school. So please join us.
Hello, thank you for having us tonight. We're excited for the opportunity to share with the Board of Education the work that we've been doing in the STEAM program, specifically in science, and the new position of having Allison there and everything that we're working on. So our assessment really started last year in looking at the curriculum resources and talking to the teachers about feedback in their science instruction, and really how they were feeling about the scope and sequence and the resources that they had available and the professional development. They were sharing a lot of challenges in accessing the resources and really training with the BOCES kits that they were using. We were able to, thank you to the Board of Education and Dr. Criscione, create writing curriculum opportunities last year in which grade level representatives were able to use the standards and NGSS and some backwards design and write some draft science units. We also were able to leverage some resources in the district and build a STEAM lab that I'm going to talk about in a moment how impactful that has been to our building. Dr. Criscione also was able to secure a legislative grant that enabled us to really stock some of those important resources in the STEAM lab. So the STEAM lab has really been kind of the hub of our building for this year. It's a really exciting, engaging space that just every week that passes, its use is increasing with our classes. It's a dedicated space where all of our students can come and the teachers can come to have authentic STEAM experiences. There's a lot of hands-on learning, as you can imagine, in an elementary classroom when teachers are teaching many subjects throughout the day. Setting up a science lab can be pretty difficult to do if you're looking at basins of tubs and looking at the impacts of waves or something like that. So we use this space to create hands-on learning experiences that really facilitate the work that we're doing. And it's in this space that they can really act like engineers in sciences and go through the engineer design process and build models and test ideas and go through the iterative process. So Mrs. Elfroth is going to talk about the implementation of the standards and really how that drives a lot of our work.
Hi, everyone. So the impetus for all of this change really came with the creation of the New York State Science Learning Standards, which you may hear the acronym NSLS. It was created in 2016, but things didn't really get moving or implemented in New York State until very recently. Like even the grade 5 and grade 8 science test wasn't first given until the spring of 2024. And we still have the chem and biology and earth science regions starting just now and the following year. So that's kind of the impetus for all of this. But what's so wonderful about NISLIS is this idea of three-dimensional learning. That learning comes down to, in science, the science and engineering practices, the cross-cutting concepts, and the disciplinary core ideas, which I'll get to in a second. But what's also really wonderful is the teaching practices that it encourages, like using phenomena in the classroom to anchor and engage students, using storylines, using modeling, and very importantly, using engineering design. And these are practices that a lot of our teachers, not just like elementary school teachers, science teachers in general, aren't always comfortable dealing with. So it's really great that we have the opportunity to get this in the ground floor in the elementary school. So NISLIS is based off of the Next Generation Science Standards, which is basically the national standards for science. And almost all states across the US have implemented it exactly as is or in some adapted form, like NISLIS. But these three dimensions of learning are so important. So we have the science and engineering practices. This is all about thinking and acting like a scientist, how students should be asking scientific questions. How do we collect data? How do we analyze that data? How do we communicate that data? How do we make models? And how do we use the engineering design process? It's, of course, about disciplinary core ideas, because that's the content, so of course there's that. And then there's the cross-cutting concepts. And these are concepts that are not just used across a unit, but it's used across subjects. These are like biology and earth science and chemistry and physics, right? So we have patterns, or the relationship between structure and function, or the relationship between cause and effect. These are things you're going to see no matter what type of science you're doing. So curriculum is no longer a collection of activities. It's no longer about teaching a subject in isolation. We need to get students to start building explanations over time using all three of these dimensions. So for me, it's super exciting to see us not just learning content, but acting and thinking like a scientist.
Sure.
Yeah.
So one of the important things that Mrs. Alfred has brought to our building, and one of our goals, is to really build capacity for high quality instruction, science instruction, actually instruction across the board, but specifically with Mrs. Alfred science instruction. So one of the foundations to doing that is creating collaborative processes where teachers can come together and engage in the writing process, provide feedback, implement, come back, revise, and it's really building collective efficacy among our teachers. And then if you can present the next two, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. So,
Sorry, I went to
that's okay. So now what's really great is that this really is a collaborative opportunity between me and my science background and the elementary school teachers and their background with elementary school kids. And now we're able to bring these high quality, ready to teach lessons that every teacher is able to access, within that grade. And the type of work that we're doing, other than, of course, aligning it to the standards, is we're creating complete teacher guides with a step-by-step sequence. We're creating student-facing materials. We're creating labs with engineering design. And I just really want to emphasize that engineering design is so critical, but it's just very new to a lot of people. Not that we haven't, as scientists, been doing it, but I don't think we've known how to teach it. And it's an iterative process where kids are learning how to ask questions to a problem, create solutions, be given criteria and constraints for those solutions, then testing them, refining them, and I want to show you some examples. So here we have the third grade unit, and the unit was on interdependent relationships. And the anchoring phenomenon was all about the sunken meadow estuary and organisms that are coming out around the same time. And why are they coming out around the same time? And it's really great that we're bringing storylines that are really relevant to them. In fact, they take a field trip to the sunken meadow estuary. But they're learning about fish and behaviors of those fish. And the problem that we give them is that we are building a road across this estuary, but we need the fish to be able to get to each side. Create a pipeline where there's constraints in the number of materials you could use, just like there would be in real life, maybe because of materials available or expense, that the fish need to be able to fit through this pipeline, but the pipeline can't be so big that we can't even build a road. So that's them working on that. This one's really cute. So in kindergarten, we're doing matter and phase change. And the anchoring phenomenon and storyline revolves around there's a lake or a pond that's freezing over. And so a lot of the talk is about water. But we wanted to bring it beyond water. What about when magma flows out of a volcano? And now it's hot liquid, but then it starts to cool down. And we ended up taking a heater and melting these crayons. The crayons behaved as lava. And if I press next, will it play? Go ahead, Mark. Yes, hit next, okay.
I guess it.
Okay, you see it melting. It's dripping like a volcano. What's going to happen next?
It's going to turn into a rainbow. It's going to turn black if it mixes together. It's all getting out. Brown and black. It's all getting out.
Okay, so when it's melting, what is the crayon? Is it a solid or a liquid?
Solid. Liquid. It's turning into a liquid until it all melts.
And what's going to happen to the liquid?
It's going to change to a solid. It's going to...
Why would it change back to a solid?
It's going to... Because it's going to get harder when it's colder. We're making a mess. Yeah.
So I just wanted to add, there's a quote by a parent there. The reason that we decided to include a parent quote is because the energy shift is palpable in our building, whether it's classroom teachers stopping us while you're walking down the hallway or feedback from parents. There is a palpable shift of just excitement about learning inside of science. So we just wanted to include that quote.
Yeah, that one was really fun for me. I don't know if you were able to hear all of it, but the teacher allowed them to talk it out. At first they're talking about a rainbow, which obviously wasn't the purpose, and then some kids started to say it's going to melt. And then when she asked what was going to happen after, and they said it was going to be a solid, she said why, and I don't know if you heard, but eventually a kid said it's going to cool down. And that was a really great moment for me. I was very happy. This is more in kindergarten with the phase change. Now here they're collecting data. They're learning how to take temperature, collect the temperature of the room, inside the freezer. Those are popsicle molds. What was cute here, and not just cute, it was good, was that some kids came up with their own mini experiment. They said, oh, well, if we change the color and put food coloring in, will that change the amount of time it freezes? Kindergartners came up with that. I thought, look at you coming up with your own independent variable, right? So that was really wonderful. Here, the nature of science, another one of our cross-cutting concepts, is really what is science at its core. Science is creative, science is tentative, science is based on evidence, science is collaborative, and we had a wonderful opportunity of bringing every grade to the STEAM lab and doing different nature of science activities. An important thing is what's the difference that scientists make observations and inferences, and they're different from each other. And that, I could tell you, as a high school teacher, they still struggle with. So I'm super happy that they're making their observations and inferences here, and we were able to touch upon these types of skills early on.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, so in continuing our collaborative growth, we want to continue to create vertical and horizontal alignment. I think you can hear the benefit of having a master teacher, a secondary science teacher that's able to see the K-12 continuum, and then working with our elementary teachers, how incredible those science units are. Just bring those to fruition in our building is quite an experience. So that we will continue to work on, in the future, the K through 4 instruction units and really revising with the teachers so that they feel that there's a huge sense of ownership and their feedback is reflected in those revisions.
Yeah, another really wonderful opportunity we've had this year is to do these kind of monthly mini workshop series professional development moments. And so we're focusing a lot on science. Well, we're focusing on high quality teaching instruction, but also science and engineering practices, which at the elementary level and all levels we really need to become more accustomed to, especially engineering design, asking questions, devising experiments. We're going to continue to work on more assessment tools. We need more varied formative and summative assessments. We're not just doing quizzes and tests. We have labs, we have projects, we have turn and talks, think, pair, shares, models, be it physical, drawing, graphs. So we're really, running with that as well, and we need to continue to do that work.
I'm glad she said that about the assessment tools. A lot of the work that we're doing in science will have implications for other subject areas too. So as we kind of, expand on what assessment tools look like, we're really learning about how to use that in different subject areas as well. So we're also going to continue to look at the engineer design process, and certainly, as you can imagine, with an exciting space like this, creating systems to make the lab run efficiently is certainly important, whether that is restocking materials or scheduling, or using an aid to help set up and break down, or using digital systems to help facilitate this work. That's all stuff that we're going to continue to work on. Okay?
Thank you.
And that's it. Any questions?
Allison, do you push into regular classrooms as well?
I'll be
addition?
present at times in the STEAM lab specifically, but not in their
Okay.
actual classroom.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of Allison's position is to really to help to be a change agent in our building and really empower the teachers to also develop their understanding of the science and engineering practices and the cross-cutting concepts. So instead of just using her to kind of do that work, we're really turnkey with all of our teachers, which I think is what makes this position really effective.
Any other questions from anyone? So, ladies, I really appreciate that. That was an excellent overview of our program and everything that's been done. We've come so far in our science program at the elementary school, and it's phenomenal to see, truly. Starting off with our first units as we were analyzing them, and now bringing in Allison has been wonderful. So I'd like to specifically thank Allison for her work in the STEAM position and for the incredible work you're doing at the elementary school. Before we move on, I'd just like to take a moment to recognize your exceptional contributions you're making in your role as this teacher on special assignment that we just created this year. Since stepping into this position, you've been instrumental in guiding in the development of the NGSS-driven curriculum that helps our students build strong science and engineering practices while engaging with rigorous grade-level content. Your ability to collaborate with teachers and design learning experiences that are meaningful and developmentally appropriate has strengthened science instruction across the entire building. Your academic background and continued pursuit of your doctoral degree reflect a deep commitment to learning and leadership. As a New York State Master Teacher Fellow and Regeneron Fellow, you bring a level of expertise that is recognized statewide and nationally. Your presentations at NSTA and Staney's show how generously you share your knowledge with others in the field. We are truly fortunate to have you here at Mount Sinai. Your work is enriching the learning experience of every student, and your leadership is elevating the work of our teachers. On behalf of the district and the Board of Education, thank you for the passion, skill, and dedication you bring to our school each day. Thank you again for everything you do for our students and staff.
Thank you so much.
All right. Moving on. Nope, forgot to do that. So we've had some busy moments here in the district, a lot happening. We certainly had our first drama production at the high school a few weeks back, One Stoplight Theater, and it was excellent. We had our signing day, which took place last week. We had our Art Honor Society induction this week. We've had student athletes qualifying for states, and we did really well with our football team. Right, Mr. Karen? They did an excellent job this season, so I'm very proud of them. Yes, we did very well. So congratulations to all for great work this year. We also had some great things happening in our buildings. We had Red Ribbon Week at the middle school. There you see Mr. Amato, who happens to be here tonight, and there he is playing, was it rock, paper, scissors? There was some type of a game at the middle school you were happening. We had our Halloween happenings in our gym like we typically do at the elementary, where we have this, everything's decked out. We had our Safe Halloween on the Saturday before Halloween for all of our elementary students to come in here at the high school, which was a wonderful event. So again, great things happening. A capital projects update I'd like to give. For our project that was approved last May, we've been moving forward on the work. It's been excellent. We've been working around the elementary schedule, so on the weekends and over holiday days off. So we've already updated some of the concrete around that, the facility on that section, the kindergarten wing, so you can see the new concrete on either side of the building. We've also updated and put in valves in our HVAC system in the gym, which is going to be help us facilitate that change as we update without making us turn off the heat for the whole building. So that will be incredibly helpful. And a bond update, I'm just going to keep this as a running discussion. Right now, we have started, our architect has submitted initial paperwork to the state. So that is good. It's giving us a start for them to start looking at some of our pieces, and he will add to that. So that's so that we can get started as soon as possible, as soon as it gets approved by the state. So that's a little update on our bond. Upcoming events, we've got the Triumph National Honor Society tomorrow evening. We've got elementary parent-teacher conferences starting Friday, and then it goes on Monday and Tuesday. We've got Thanksgiving break next week, the turkey trot this Saturday, and believe it or not, our concerts are coming up as soon as we get back from Thanksgiving. We've got the high school winter concerts that week, the middle school winter concerts the following week, and elementary. And our next meeting is the 17th. It is a hoppin' month, and that is it for my report.
Thank you, Dr. Kashoni. All right, with the agenda, Joe, can you do approval in minutes, please?
Sure. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby accepts the minutes of October 22nd, 2025, meeting as submitted.
Could I have a second?
Second.
A second by Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Paul, can you do action item number 4, personnel?
Sure. Motion resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby approves personnel items A through D as listed below.
Can I have a second? Second. A second by Chuck. All in favor? Chuck, action item number 5, please.
5 action items, educational. Motion resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent. The Board of Education hereby approves action item A as listed below.
All right, thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
A second by Anthony. All in favor? All right. Anthony, action item number 6, please.
Action items, business. Motion resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent. The Board of Education hereby approves action items A through F as listed below.
All right, thank you. Can I have a second, please? Second. A second by Paul. All in favor? Great. All right, thank you, everybody. All right, moving along, we have our student report with Mahika is with us tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good evening, board members. I'm Mahika Palakuri, and I'd like to share some highlights and upcoming events at our school. At the high school student government hosted a very successful Safe Halloween. A big thank you to the clubs that participated. We had rooms with STEM games, coloring activities, live aquatic animals, an amazing haunted hallway, and karaoke and Just Dance, which was my personal favorite. Overall, it was an amazing time where young children could safely trick-or-treat and enjoy games and have fun. We also held our Art Honor Society induction, and the Spanish Honor Society took a field trip to Patchogue Theater to learn about Hispanic culture through music and dance. Our financial math classes visited New York City's financial district. We also had a great turnout for our fall play. The drama club performed for 2 nights, and the show was a big success. Coming up at the high school, the Model UN is planning to host a conference in December. The Triumph Music Honor Society induction is on November 20th. The PTO Craft Fair will be held on November 22nd, and our annual turkey trot is approaching. In the middle school, Student Council and the Junior Honor Society both ran rooms at Safe Halloween. For Unity Day on October 15th, Junior Honor Society members created a collaborative art piece spelling unity and made 2 motivational posters. During Red Ribbon Week, the Mustang Manners Club organized a Spirit Week, daily announcements, and a school-wide rock, paper, scissors challenge. The Mustang Manners Club will also be attending and supporting the Turkey Trot. The middle school play, The Music Man Jr., has been announced, and auditions are happening this week. Student Council hosted a Halloween movie day after school on October 29th, and they are planning a holiday dance for December 19th. They also made Veterans Day cards that were donated to Stony Brook Veterans Home. Social studies teachers and 8th grade students raised over $3,000 for disabled American veterans, making our school the top donor in the entire country. Students wrote messages that the Junior Honor Society attached to flags and planted outside the school, where they will remain until Thanksgiving. The school also held a Veterans Day assembly with community members and families of veterans. Student leaders gave tributes and the orchestra performed. At the elementary school, October ended with a successful PTO Boo Bash and a school-wide Halloween parade, highlighted by our principal, Mr. Catlin, getting slimed, which students loved. The Mount Sinai Fire Department visited to teach fire safety to kindergarten and first grade students. Last Friday, the Harlem Wizards event, sponsored by the SEPTO, brought out families to watch elementary staff and high school basketball players take them on. It had great energy and turnout. This week, parent-teacher conferences begin. Student government is also running a food drive to support families in need. Looking ahead, second graders are preparing their own balloon designs for a special Thanksgiving parade inspired by balloons over Broadway. You'll hear more tonight about the school's ongoing science curriculum work, including hands-on engineering and lab experiences. And finally, the elementary school is excited to have a kindergarten student serve as principal for a day, shadowing Mr. Catlin and helping run the school. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Mahika. All right. Any questions or comments from the community? None in the audience. And Mark, we have none in the virtual world? All right. That was a quick one tonight. All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Chuck, second by Paul. Right. Thank you, everybody.